Welcome back, motorsport fans. In a shocking turn of events, Max Verstappen and Red Bull Racing find themselves facing major challenges after a surprising finish at the Italian Grand Prix. With their once dominant Formula One car losing its edge, is Red Bull's reign over? Today we're diving deep into Verstappen's struggles, Red Bull's issues, and what this means for the future of Formula One championships. Stay tuned for all the latest insights. The fact that Verstappen just surprised Red Bull by finishing 6th in the Italian Grand Prix has caused some to be concerned that Red Bull's Formula One titles are in jeopardy of being taken away from them. Due to the fact that Red Bull has transformed their once dominant Formula One car into a monster, Max Verstappen has expressed his concern that it is no longer viable for the team to simultaneously win both titles. Being able to even win the driver's title will be a very difficult task. Verstappen struggled to qualify higher than 7th on Saturday, and he did not make much progress on Sunday either. He continued to struggle to qualify higher than 7th. George Russell, who was driving for Mercedes, finished one spot behind him in the final standings. The Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc earned the victory by a margin of around 38 seconds, and Lando Norris, who was competing for the championship, finished in 3rd place by a margin of more than 30 seconds. Because of this, the Dutchman's victory margin was extremely narrow. McLaren has reduced Red Bull's lead in the Manufacturers' Championship to 8 points as a result of the fact that Oscar Piastri finished in 2nd place and Norris finished in 1st place. Despite the fact that Verstappen is already 62 points ahead of Norris in the drivers' standings, this will not be sufficient because Red Bull has not been able to resolve the major car balance issues that it has been experiencing since May. And these issues are occurring once more today against far more formidable competition. When Verstappen stated that it is beyond his ability to win both titles at this time, he was being completely truthful. Much has been stated by me. It is now up to the team to make a significant number of modifications to the vehicle. For the reason that within a span of about 6 to 8 months, we went from having a very nice car to having one that was unable to be driven. To say the least, I find that to be quite peculiar. It is necessary for us to do an automobile flip. The current state of affairs is unacceptable in every aspect, and we need to make a great deal of adjustments. It was posed to Poulsen or Norris whether or not it was a positive thing to not win. He responded by saying, "In a way, yes, but that's not how I like to look at the championship." Now is the time for us to put our personal fortune behind us. Additionally, it has been a terrible weekend, and today is not any better. We moved at an unsafe pace. Obviously, the 6-second pause resulted in a financial loss for me. Due to the fact that we were experiencing some difficulties, I was unable to operate the engine at full power for the most of the race. To add insult to injury, our strategy to get at least a little bit more involved in the conflict should have been executed more effectively. Both yesterday and today we were lacking in many different ways. On Saturday, Red Bull held a series of exceptionally significant meetings to discuss the modifications that need to be made to the RB20 during the next several weeks. Verstappen believes that he does not have anything else to add because he has been providing the team with information about the handling of his car for several months. Everyone was quite aware of the tasks that were required of them. He concluded by saying, "Right now we have to turn it around. It's not easy to do that very quickly, and then if we can put that on the car, it becomes more drivable again. We took a great car from last year, it was the best car ever, and turned it into a terrible thing. That means we need to change things. Regardless of the number of weeks that pass, we must not give up and continue to put in a lot of effort. There is no justification for this. If increasing the amount of downforce that is added to the Red Bull RB20 for the 2024 Formula One season makes the vehicle more difficult to drive, Max Verstappen is certain that he does not want this to happen." Marco, a consultant for Red Bull, stated that the team would be required to rebuild the RB20 at this moment with the current circumstances. The Red Bull RB20 should not have a lot of downforce according to Max Verstappen, who wants it to be comfortable to drive. Ever since the Spanish Grand Prix on June 23rd, Verstappen has not been victorious in a race. This is the longest stretch of time that he has gone without a victory since the year 2020. The gap between him and Lando Norris has decreased to 62 points with 8 races remaining in the season. Nevertheless, Red Bull is only 8 points ahead of McLaren, and it is possible that they may lose the Constructors' Championship for the first time since May 2022 of this year. At the Azerbaijan Grand Prix Rix, which took place over the weekend in Baku. In the years following the implementation of the ground effect rules in Formula One in 2022, teams have struggled to increase the amount of downforce that their vehicles possess while still maintaining a range that is manageable for the drivers. They are forced to make a choice between increasing the vehicle's overall speed and maintaining its ease of operation. After the race, Marco wrote a story for Speed Week in which he stated that Verstappen had communicated to the technical staff of Red Bull that he desired to be present during the Italian Grand Prix race weekend. Marco concluded by saying the main question now is how do we go about rediscovering the good car balance from the first part of the season. Specifically, he was referring to a chassis that not only had less downforce but also had greater flexibility. It was during the Monza race that Max Verstappen informed us that he did not require 20 points more downforce if it makes the car impossible to drive. This is the reason why we need to repair the car and make an effort to locate the point at which it was balanced. If we are successful in doing that, we will be able to anticipate how the car will behave once more. It will instill a newfound sense of bravery in the drivers, and they will once again be able to assist in a significant manner. Since then, we have added a lot of additional components to the vehicle, which makes it difficult to accomplish this task. To put it another way, we need to figure out what went wrong. Simple as that. It has been reported by Helmut Marko that Red Bull is concerned that the connection to the wind tunnel could be their primary headache. Red Bull was consistently lagging behind the competition in Italy, not having the speed to compete at the front of the pack during qualifying and on race day. McLaren maintained their position as the leader in the standard, but Ferrari's advancements brought them into contention. It is necessary for the existing winners to contend with the attributes of the RB20 in addition to their increased mileage. Due to the fact that the team has not been able to resolve issues that have persisted for a long time, Max Verstappen's attitude of his car has not changed. There is a possibility that Red Bull is the source of their problem, according to Helmut Marko. He concluded by saying, "We have turned a racing car that won the first few races into one that is pretty unpredictable and very hard to drive. That must be put to an end." This kind of rapid shifts in performance can be explained by the fact that we designed the automobile extremely responsive to even the most minute of adjustments. It is possible that the temperature outdoors, the type of tires, or the fact that there is less fuel on board are all contributing factors. After that, the car will no longer show any signs of having a decent balance. In addition, we are of the opinion that it is not always appropriate to compare the outcomes of the wind lab with the racecourse findings. The power struggle that occurred within the squad at the beginning of the season was another issue that surfaced during the course of the season and may have had a significant impact on the car that is currently in use. In any case, it is how Helmut Marko perceives the situation. Despite the fact that it is obvious that this does not help, in the end it has nothing to do with the technological problems that we are experiencing and everything to do with the departure of significant people. Certain employees will leave their jobs if they are presented with a favorable offer or if they become aware of a new opportunity. The modest growth that this team has had so far in this season is not unique. The fact that Red Bull did not make many advancements during the previous season was irrelevant because of the significant lead they held. Due to the fact that there are 3 other teams that are well ahead of you, the failure to achieve significant success will cost you more and more. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko have both stated that Red Bull is working to find solutions to the issues that it is facing. Becoming aware of an issue, on the other hand, is not the same as taking action to address it. In the event that Verstappen still has a significant advantage to maintain by the time the American Grand Prix in Coda, which is roughly a month after the Singapore Grand Prix takes place, Red Bull has 2 months to provide him with a vehicle that can retain him in the lead for the championship. On the other hand, Marko is counting on having answers by that time, particularly after the tire test that took place in the middle of the week following the Monza Grand Prix. We are going to put our tires through their paces in Monza with Liam Lawson. Additionally, our people will investigate the areas in which we ought to make adjustments at the same time. When it comes to the process of creation, we need to figure out where we went wrong. As of right now, we have arrived at a few distinct findings. Immediately, we need to make the appropriate adjustments to the technical aspects of the vehicle in order to get the car's balance back on track. As a result, the upcoming 2 races that will take place on street courses in Baku and Singapore are not very significant. Also, if this does not take place, they will face a significant challenge not only in the year 2024, but also in the year 2025. Helmut Marko claims that Verstappen will still be there in 2025, despite the fact that there are a number of evidence that suggest otherwise. This will undoubtedly cause Verstappen to reflect on his future. In the next year, he is going to be a driver for Red Bull Racing. Nevertheless, it appears that things will be fairly open in the year 2026. Oh, Mum, that is a very long way away. Right now, we are focusing all of our attention on the World Championship in 2024. Is it possible that they may soon switch to a Mercedes or an Aston Martin? On the other hand, can Red Bull be able to turn things around, win the races once more, and strengthen their relationship with Verstappen? Do you have any thoughts? Please share your thoughts by filling out the form below. As the Formula One season heats up, the pressure on Red Bull and Max Verstappen is more intense than ever. Can they regain their form and retain their titles, or will this season mark the end of their dominance? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'll be following this closely, so stay tuned for more updates and expert analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.